Hey, what's going on, my YouTube family and friends? When you go to the grocery store and you're looking in the cooler section, do you ever see those packs of corned beef? Well, today we're going to show you how to turn that into delicious homemade pastrami. If you want to see how it's done, stay tuned. I'll see you. Alright guys, we're going to be making a pastrami. Now what we're going to do, we're going to take this corned beef and we're going to turn it into a homemade pastrami. The one thing about taking a corned beef and making it as pastrami, they're brined the exact same way. So it's like you're cheating the process. So a lot of times people may say, well, that's not the same or whatnot. This is easy for me. You don't have to worry about trying to let it sit in your refrigerator for a week or whatever brining when it's already done for you. They use the exact same brine. It's just the seasoning process after the brine and the cooking process different. So we're going to go ahead on, we're going to take this corned beef, we're going to turn it into a pastrami. First order of business though is we're going to soak some of the salt out of this thing. These things are brined in salt and other spices, but they're super salty. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to soak it for a few hours before we attempt to cook it. So what we're going to do is we're going to open it up. I'm going to let it sit in this container of cold water. We're going to cover it up and we're going to put it in the fridge for a couple hours. Then after we do that, we'll meet back up with you. I'll see you in a little bit. All right, guys, we are back. We have let this corned beef rinse or soak for 2 hours. That's plenty enough time to keep a lot of the salt still in it. We're not going to have to worry about putting any salt on the outside. This thing's going to have plenty of salt. Like I said, when it's brined in a salt mixture, so we don't want to add any more to it. When I first did one of these years ago, I made the mistake of putting seasoning on the outside too. And when I tell you that thing had my cheeks puckering, I'll never make that mistake again. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this the rinsed corned beef, we're going to pat it dry. Get all the moisture, as much moisture as you can off of it. Then we're going to put our dry rub on it. See, this is a 3.5 flat cut. You can buy it either in the flat or the point. For the pastrami, I prefer the flat. The point has a little more fat, but it's been brined so much you don't have to worry about losing any moisture. It's going to keep a lot of that moisture from the brine or whatnot. So, all right, we're just going to get it dry. Now the seasoning we're going to use is just basically a classic pastrami seasoning. It's going to have black pepper, coriander, mustard, and garlic. No salt whatsoever. In this particular mixture, we've got 3 tablespoons of black pepper, 3 tablespoons of garlic, granulated garlic, a tablespoon of coriander, and a tablespoon of ground mustard. And then we're going to use regular mustard. Well, this is spicy deli mustard, but you can use regular mustard, any type of mustard as a binder. And let's go liberally over the whole entire corned beef. We're not going to worry about doing any trimming or anything. It's trimmed good. When you smoke it, a lot of that fat that's on there will render down. So it's super simple. Like I said, a lot of the heavy lifting is already done if you use the corned beef, the pre-done or the pre-brined corned beef. All we have to do is add our seasoning and then cook it and quite naturally eat it. All right, now what we do is just take our mixture and go liberally over the whole entire piece of meat. I'm a fan of the black pepper pastrami. You can go as heavy with the black pepper or as light as you like. It's all your preference. But you most definitely want to make sure you cover the whole thing because we're going to be slicing this super thin when we make sandwiches, and you want to make sure that all your pieces are seasoned well. You don't want to miss any parts of it. I say it may look like it's heavy seasoned now, but once it's done cooking and you get it sliced, you'll realize it's just right. All right, so if you can see that, it's heavily coated all the way around. Now we're just gonna let this sit for about 10 minutes before we put on the smoke. I'll see you in a few minutes. Okay guys, we are back out here on the Acorn today. We have it dialed in at 250 degrees and we're gonna be shooting for an internal temp of about 200. But like I said with the brisket video, most importantly, the probe tenderness. All right, we're checking this thing after about 2 hours. Just getting an idea of what the temp is, how we're coming along. Temperature reading was about 135 degrees so far. It's coming along. I have to rotate it a little bit just so I can get some even cooking on it. Such a small piece of meat. All right, guys, we're about 3.5 hours in. You can see the temperature sitting at 154 degrees. So maybe another hour or so before we're ready to wrap. It's looking good. You can see I put on that upper rack so I can kind of get a little bit more airflow all the way around instead of sitting on the lower rack. So that's the reason why we moved it up to the top. Final temp check. Right at 160 is what we were looking for. Now it's time to wrap it on up. All right. We'll see you at the cutting board. As you can see, cooked it for about 6.5 hours, let it rest for 2. Nice color. I would have liked for it to have a little bit more of a darker color, but that is sometimes the downfall of using that particular smoker. But it does cook everything really well. And you can see the inside is beautiful. Plenty of juice. Plenty of moisture. Just look at that. Get ready to cut this thing up and get a taste test. What I'm looking for is that pepper, that coriander, that garlic. And that's exactly what we got. It's delicious. Truly appreciate you guys. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. God bless you. Make sure you look out for our next videos where we'll be turning this pastrami into Reuben sandwiches.